Hi friends, it's Mike here, and welcome back to another episode of Simply Bougie. So it's that time of year again, Thanksgiving, where everybody's wanting to be bougie and show off to their family with their cooking skills for obviously the massive feast of Thanksgiving dinner. So being a small, humble channel that I currently am right now, I still have to say I'm very fortunate and thankful this Thanksgiving season. I have some really awesome subscribers. One of them actually reached out to me and said that they wanted some help with Thanksgiving dinner because they don't have quite as much money and want to still put on a good show and, impress their friends and family with their dinner. So I'm going to do just that. And like I said, I'm very fortunate that she reached out to me. Thank you for that. And please keep that coming. And speaking of other viewer submissions, I have actually a few photos I'd like to show you. So first I have this one.
What a nice job she did with her prep work here and getting ready and making the pizzas. I'm sorry, I just think this is also cute.
Now that one really made my day. That was sent in to me by one of my subscribers who told me that she shared my video with her 6-year-old son. And hours later when his father came home from work, he said to him, "Dad, we're having bougie pizza night." So they participated in my bougie pizza night, and I think it was a smash hit success. So thank you for sending me that picture. And here's another one.
And I can't say this enough. Look how awesome these guys are with all their prep work. So yep, she did it in a Dutch oven, put another layer of dough on top, and yep, delish.
So what we're going to do today is make Brussels sprouts. And yeah, I know you're probably thinking, ugh, because I'm actually that same person. I'm not a fan of them at all, but I will say that I do think most of the things that we eat and like to eat are based on how they're prepared and presentation itself. So with that in mind, what I'm going to do, and it's real simple, some of these have these little funky tips. Just cut that off to make it a little nicer looking, and then chop it straight down to cut it in half. And then I'm going to continue out the rest. I'm going to continue that with the rest of these, and then we'll come back for the next step. Alrighty, so I'm just finishing these up here. I have a few more left to go. So basically, like I said, I cut that little gross nub off the bottom, sliced them in half, so that way it makes nice little smaller bites, which I love that anyway, because I hate when people pop the big Brussels sprouts directly in their mouth. I think that's a little obnoxious myself, but anyway, so what we're gonna do is roast these in the oven. Now that's actually a super easy step. It's the longest part of this entire process. So I just preheated my oven to 400 degrees. I say 30 to 45 minutes, but I keep an eye on mine, and I'm kind of a little obnoxious and keep checking to make sure because I want them to look just right. So olive oil, we're going to put right over top of these. Now you want to put a good generous coating on them, but obviously you don't want to drown them in it because it's not the point of that. And then I'm going to do this actually in 2 steps. So get some of that olive oil on there. And then I'm going to do a nice, generous sprinkling of pepper. And then the same with salt. And I love using the flaky sea salt just because I think it gives it a nicer presentation. Okay, so we're going to do that and then give that a good stir one more time. And once I'm done with that, I'm gonna move the junk out of the way here because I don't think you need to stare at all these little crumbs going. All right, so right onto the pan. And I kind of want to try to do a nice even layer of it because obviously, oh, Brussels sprout on my shirt. So you want to have a nice even layer on it so it gives for good cooking. And like I said, again, 400 degrees, 30 to 45 minutes. Once I'm done with them, I'll let you know exactly how long I cook them for myself. But obviously everybody's ovens vary. So now that I did that, what I'm going to do is just take a little bit more of the olive oil, and I'm going to kind of cup it so that way it drizzles slow. And I'm going to just do another little drizzling on it. Words are not my friend today. There we go, just to make sure that they are all coated correctly and evenly. And then just gonna take a look around and see what areas could use that little extra salt. Because again, I kind of wanted to have that even distribution from the get-go. And same with pepper, I could definitely use some more. So I'm not ever going to say you're using too much. I think the more the better, but again, to each his own with what they like. So I'm gonna pause here for a minute. I'm gonna put these in the oven, and then I'm gonna actually show you my next step, which is going to be putting on these toasted pecans. So be right back.
All right, guys, so this is going to be my little cheater hack for you. So obviously I'm going to toast the pecans on the stovetop, but before I put them in the pan to toast, I'm going to take the sheet pan that I'm doing the Brussels sprouts in and going to sprinkle the pecans over that. So that way I'm not toasting too many up and having an excess going on. So to do that, then I put them into the pan itself. And the biggest important rule with this is do not walk away from it, because you walk away for 1 second and they burn. I usually do them with my fingers there just to kind of give them a little shuffle around, because once they start to actually get that hot feeling where you almost can't touch them, that's when they're usually good to go. So toast those up, and then we'll be right back to the next step here.
All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed that hack that I showed you for measuring out the pecans. I'm not always a big advocate of sticking to a strict half cup, quarter cup, but I also don't want you to waste either, because I use pecans in quite a bit of items that I make, but I know most people probably don't. So that's a good way to make sure that you're not wasting food. And obviously, once I was done with toasting those up, I bought chopped ones, but they're obviously still in big pieces. So what I did was I just took a knife and ran it through real quick just to give it a nice, chop to make them even smaller pieces here. Now I did have a few when I was done chopping them, and I'm still kind of going through. Yep, here's one actually right now. So when I chopped them, I still kind of get some big pieces here still. So if you find one, just crack it and be done with it. Call that an easy win. So to recap what I've done here, so I took the Brussels sprouts, chopped them up, put them on the pan with olive oil, salt and pepper, 400-degree oven. So they're still cooking right now. I roasted the pecans, chopped them up, and I also did some cleaning up extra stuff. So obviously the last thing you want to deal with is having to go back on Thanksgiving Day and clean up everything at the end. So if you can kind of clean as you go, it makes your life easier. And since it's Thanksgiving season and we are talking about being thankful, I actually wanted to just stop for a second here and let you guys know that I'm very thankful for my friends April and Linda. And the reason I bring this up now is because my friend Linda and I love to cook together. She's actually one of the reasons that helped inspire me to make this channel, because we always have fun in the kitchen together, laugh, giggle. She actually taught me to not be so strict about everything and taught me how to be a sous chef, because I like to take control of my own kitchen. And April is actually the one who always cleans as we go. So Linda and I will start cooking, flinging things around, making a mess, and April is right behind us, going, grabbing, washing dishes. And so by the time everything's done, we're just ready to eat. So I love you guys. I just want to let you know that I am thankful for you, and let's get back to the Brussels sprouts here. Alrighty guys, so I got the Brussels sprouts out of the oven. I ended up cooking mine for about 35 then total. And like I said, everybody's ovens are different, so just keep an eye on it. I don't know how well you can see this, but they do have some lovely brown on it. They're nice and tender, and actually a good way to test that, just take a fork, stick it in, and obviously it came out real nice and easy, so it means you're good to go. So now we're going to sprinkle the pecans over it. Now, when I do that, I am going to actually reserve a tiny little bit in the bowl here when I'm done. And you'll see why in a second. Because again, it's part of that gilding the lily. All right, so a little bit extra. Got those poured in here. And now for my secret bougie weapon, balsamic glaze. You can make balsamic glaze by taking balsamic vinegar, reducing it down, taking forever. buy a bottle of it. It's not that expensive and it's saving you a lot of time. So all I do with that, ooh, spill it on the table, is just take it and drizzle little bits all across and try not to get it on you and your kitchen counter. All right, so there's that. And then just another good mix up. And that is going to be one of the best Brussels sprouts you've ever eaten. And if you don't like Brussels sprouts, you're probably going to be a fan of it after this. Just saying, it's what did it for me. Excuse me. All right, so I got the Brussels sprouts all stirred up in with the pecans and the balsamic glaze. So going to just take a nice festive little dish here, which I don't know if you could see it too well or not, but it's got a nice little autumn style design on it that I got at the Dollar Tree for, you guessed it, $1. So I'm gonna get those thrown in here. And actually I'm really impressed going back to the dollar store item because they're stepping their game up. Got some really good items that they're selling now. So I'm gonna hopefully maybe do some more dollar store find things for you guys so I could just give you a little bit of suggestion and idea of what to do with some of those things. Okay, so anyway, going back to this, did I spill something? No, okay, just the balsamic on the ground here. Okay, so now taking the last bit of those pecans and just sprinkling it on top. And get the rest of it. Okay. And then that one final extra bougie step, a little bit more of that balsamic glaze right on top, just so it could be seen, and voila. Wipe the side of the bowl a little bit, because again, I'm clumsy. Look at that. It's freaking delicious. Like I said, it's gonna make a believer out of anybody who is not a fan already. And yeah, I know this is for Thanksgiving dinner, but I'm gonna eat it myself right now. So until next time, guys, bye. Amazing.